Hi, Kevin here from Circle Art Designs. Today we will be working on the Teardrop Pendant with a Moroccan Flare. This is part of the Bead Box Bargain series for December. This will be project number 4, and I just love this necklace, and I know you will too. In the December Bargain Bead Box, we had a 36 by 26 millimeter Teardrop Chandelier Focal. That's what I will be using. I will also be using a 5 by 4 millimeter corrugated spacer beads. These are in a copper brass color. I just love these little spacer beads. It's really important that your focal piece and your beads match to get that Moroccan feel to it. We will also be using the brass coppery banded toggle clasp that came with the Bargain Bead Box. If I was going to put this in the shop, I would leave this clasp on, but I like a different style of clasp, so once this is finished, I will be changing this out. I will be using the Rolo chain that came with the December box. I will also be using a 4 millimeter crystal bicone beads in a copper metallic. Oh, aren't these lovely? And I was so glad to see these jump rings in the box. It made my day. And I still have some of the 6 by 4 millimeter crystal rondelle beads in the matte magma color. They'll be beautiful. And let us not forget the 6 millimeter scalloped bead caps that also were in the box. I am so glad I didn't have any. When you put this all together, it is going to make just a stunning piece of Moroccan style jewelry. And I will be using a dark copper for the head pins because it's what I have. And for my own stash, I will be using the 3 millimeter round spacer beads in brass. Aren't these lovely? I'm so excited. I haven't got to use them yet. And here's a close-up on the head pins. Now I got these, I believe, from Hobby Lobby, but check your own local store. So here's the pattern that I will be using for the dangles on this pendant. I do not believe I'm going to add or take away beads because of the curve of the teardrop. So starting from the bottom, we will first be putting on one of the brass round spacer beads, followed by your copper corrugated spacer bead, then another of your brass spacer beads. Then we will use the end cap and one of the rondelles in the matte magma, another end cap, your spacer bead in brass, your bicone in metallic copper, another spacer bead in brass, an end cap, your rondelle again, a spacer bead, your crystal bicone, and then we will make the loop on the end, and that's our pattern. So taking our copper head pin, let's go ahead and build our first dangle. So we started out with our brass spacer bead and then one of our copper spacers. Another brass spacer bead, and then a bead cap. It's very important that the bead cap, the curved portion, the inner curve, is facing up towards the angle that you are going to put your bead on. Now we're going to put on our rondelle in the matte magma, and then we're going to put our bead cap on facing the opposite direction so that they really snug up against that bead. And now it's time for another one of our brass spacer beads. Next comes our 4mm crystal bicone in the copper metallic. I love this look. And we're going to follow it by another brass spacer bead. An end cap, a rondelle, and an end cap. Followed by a brass spacer bead, and then another one of our crystal bicones. Just beautiful, isn't it? I will be using my looper on this to begin the loops, but because it's so short on the end, I will not be able to get it into the hole. I will just butt the beads up against the side until they're snug, and then clamp it down, and it will cut and make the loop. Then because it's not quite closed, I'm going to use my straight nose pliers to finish it up. And there it is. One down, 6 more to go. So because of the one I showed you at the very beginning, I have actually 2 of them finished. But what I'm showing you now is the teardrop and how we're going to go all the way around, and I'm not really going to have to add beads to it. Well, maybe the middle one, we'll see. Okay, let's speed this up a bit. I'm sure you don't want me to do all the rest of these one at a time. Here we go. You know, I really love the look of this necklace. In fact, I loved it so much that I went on Amazon to look and see if I could find any teardrops like this. I couldn't, and Bargain Bead Box was sold out of them. But I did order some teardrops of various styles in silver, so I can hardly wait to start with those. While you're watching the fingers fly by, wouldn't it be nice if we could work that fast in real life? Would you please take a moment and like and comment on this video? Thank you so much. So with all good plans, sometimes there need to be a change. If you will notice, when I put these together, there's not as much space in between for the rest of them. So I will be changing up the pattern just a bit. Forget that working with seed beads and working with other beads are very different. So here is the pattern. So starting at the bottom of the head pin, we will use a brass spacer bead, your copper corrugated spacer bead, a brass spacer bead, your bead cap, your rondelle, another bead cap, a brass spacer bead, your crystal metallic bicone, a spacer bead, your crystal metallic bicone, a spacer bead, a crystal metallic bicone, a spacer bead, in brass, a spacer bead, and then we'll make our circle. And here's my little hand signal. We're going to need 4 of these, so there'll be 3 of your first type of dangle and 4 of the second. So let's make one of these together. On your head pin, you're going to want to put a brass spacer bead, your copper corrugated spacer bead, a brass spacer bead, and your first end cap. Next comes your rondelle. These are in the matte magma, and another end cap. Next we will have the brass spacer and then a crystal bicone and another brass spacer. Another bicone, a brass spacer, and another bicone. Followed by 2 brass spacers. Gotta get that length. Oh, I found a brass spacer that didn't have the hole all the way through. You know, you'd think I'd give up, but I just keep trying to punch through. Using my looper, I will go ahead and make a loop in the same way. Remember, it won't go all the way across. You'll have to butt that bead up against the side and then mash down and let it make the circle and finish it off with your round nose pliers. Just 2 more to go and we will be finished with our dangles. That's going to look really, really pretty. I know I've said that a lot, but I just love this look. And here it is finished and ready for the dangles to be attached. So we can use the jump rings that came from the bargain bead box. And I had truly forgotten I had oval jump rings in that brass color. But I'm going to go ahead and use my oval jump rings because I really like the way it causes the dangles to swing. So the process is the same regardless of whether you're using ovals or circles. You take your jump ring between 2 pliers and then twist one side where the opening is. Never pull it apart, always twist. Attach your dangle to your chandelier and then twist it back towards yourself, closing it securely. 1 down, 6 more to go. Make sure when you are attaching these that you put the opening of your jump ring to the back. You don't want your jump ring opening to be looking at you when you have the necklace on. So here it is. I've opened my jump ring. I am putting it on from the front side going towards the back. Then I will put on my dangle and close it on that back side. There's number 2. Notice how the natural curve of the teardrop chandelier is causing a beautiful curve at the bottom on your dangles. And here it is, dangles attached and ready for your bell and your necklace. Oh, I almost forgot. There is a space to put something in the center of this teardrop. I put a brass bead that came with the bargain bead box, and I would probably never do it again. Good luck, people. I didn't even film it. What is the old saying? Oh yeah, every man for himself. Really, good luck with it. So part of the problem was that my head pins broke every time I tried to very carefully open that little loop that I had made. And then it was, how am I going to get something when I don't have a head pin that will work? So I finally made it work, but yeah, I wouldn't want to do it again. Here you can see that I've gone ahead and attached the bell and the chandelier. Now, if you don't want to use a bell, you can just use a jump ring for this, but I had these beautiful bells and I decided I wanted to use them. Then you're going to thread your necklace chain through it, and then we will be ready to attach the toggle. Attaching the toggle is a very simple process. All you're going to do is take your jump rings, whether you're using the round or the oval, and attach the jump ring through the necklace and then the toggle through the jump ring and close them in the same way we've done before. So again, I'm going to take this jump ring, I'm going to take 2 sets of pliers, holding them between the jump ring between the pliers. I'm going to put the opening end up. I'm going to take one of my hands and twist it away from me, opening the jump ring. Then I'm going to put on my necklace chain and my toggle, one section of my toggle, and then I'm going to take the wrist that I twisted to open and twist it back towards myself to close it. Make sure your jump rings are closed. The saddest thing I have ever had happen to me is look down and realized the jump ring had let go somewhere and I had left my necklace behind. Here are pictures of the finished product. I wanted to thank you for joining me on this adventure today. I love this Moroccan style necklace, don't you? I hope you have a great day and your beading journey today is amazing. Catherine, Circle Art Designs.